That President Biden will convene a national security team on Monday in the Situation Room to discuss developments in the Middle East. Well, to discuss all of that and more, I'm joined now by Randa Slim, the director of the Conflict Resolution Programme at the Middle East Institute. Welcome to the programme, Randa. We're just hearing there that President Biden is going to convene his top national security team. Can diplomacy work in this situation, or are we looking at more escalation in the region?
I don't think that diplomacy will stop the Iranians and Hezbollah from launching their retaliatory attacks against Israel. Once the supreme leader Khamenei said they will respond, they will retaliate, that's now regime dogma, and so they will respond. I think, and the same thing with Hassan Nasrallah, the Secretary General of Hezbollah. He said they will respond, they will retaliate. That's party dogma. So I think where diplomacy can work is on the parameters of the response. I mean, last time Iran attacked Israel in response to Israel's bombing of its consulate in Damascus, there were 2 weeks of negotiations, direct, indirect, between the U.S. and Iran through Oman, through other regional allies in the Gulf, in order to agree on the parameters of a response that does not devolve the region into an all-out war. I think similar things are happening right now in terms of diplomatic talk, but I think Iran is in a different place today. Iran needs to restore deterrence with Israel. Iran found that its response in April was not enough to restore deterrence. So its response this time is going to be qualitatively different from what they did in April, and with the objective of restoring deterrence.
You mentioned other people in the region. We're just also hearing from the White House that President Biden is going to be speaking to King Abdullah of Jordan on Monday as well. I want to pick up on what you were saying about deterrence, because there is the school of thought that if Iran raises things a notch higher, then Israel will retaliate a notch higher, and we could end up with a full-scale war.
That is definitely a serious risk. I mean, it's a very realistic scenario that we might end up getting dragged into a tit-for-tat escalatory trajectory between Iran, the other members of the resistance axis, and Israel. So the question is going to be not only for the U.S. to use diplomatic channels with the regional allies, meaning in the Gulf, who can speak, and including also Jordan, who can speak with the Iranians, but also the U.S. needs to also, prevail on the Israeli prime minister not to retaliate to a response by Iran that is bearable. He like they did in April. After the hit from Iran, there was a telephone call between President Biden and the Israeli prime minister, during which President Biden said, just take the hit, take the win, and take the hit. And so it depends on the response. If the response is going to be different than what we saw in April, if it's going to lead to more destruction, to major loss of lives, targeting major cities, it's going to be hard, I think, on the Israelis not to respond. And then there is the serious scenario, nightmarish scenario of an all-out regional war, which everybody has been trying to avoid for the last 10 months.
OK, Randa Slim, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts on that very tense situation that continues in the Middle East.
Thank you.